Hello and welcome back to another exciting Read Aloud. I am your lovely host, Miss Disney, and today we are going to continue a Twisted Tale anthology. And in this story, we are going to be reading The Journey Home. What if Belle had to take her father's place at the fair? By Farrah Rochon. I hope I pronounced that right. Inharmonious squawks pierced the peaceful morning as a brood of hens flocked to Belle's feet. "Calm down, there's enough for all of you," Belle said, laughing. Using her father's latest invention, she sent chicken feed arcing through the air with a flourish. She sprinkled the last of the feed near the chicken coop before entering the house she and her father shared. The minute she cleared the threshold, a loud crash boomed from her father's workshop. It was quite normal to hear strange sounds coming from the workshop, but this one sounded especially worrisome. When Belle heard a small, strangled cry, alarm swept through her. "Papa?" Belle yelled. She raced to the workshop and pushed open the heavy wooden door. The sight before her stole her breath. "Papa!" She rushed to the mountain of logs that had tumbled to the floor and began chucking them aside, searching for her father. "Oh, Papa," Belle said upon finding him. His face was streaked with dirt and grime. She dropped to her knees and brushed bits of tree bark from his mustache. I'm okay," Maurice said. "Maybe I should get the doctor just to be safe." "No, Belle." He held out a hand to her. "Just help me up. I'll be fine." Belle caught his wrinkled hand, the papery feel of his skin reminding her that her beloved Papa was growing older with each passing day. How long would he be able to keep up this pace before she was forced to intervene? "See? Good as new," Maurice said. He took one step and immediately crumbled to the floor. "Papa!" Belle wrapped her arms around his torso and led him out of the workshop and to his bed. "I will fetch the doctor. You stay right there." "Belle, I have to show my invention at the fair in 2 days' time. This is too important to miss." "You can barely walk," she pointed out. "Please, promise me you won't move until I return with the doctor at least." She grabbed her cloak and raced into town. Belle wasn't entirely confident in her ability to summon the local doctor. The man was just as small-minded as the others in town. They all labeled both Belle and her father odd and treated them as outcasts, all because her father spent his time coming up with brilliant, albeit sometimes strange inventions, and because she would rather read a book than participate in town gossip. Her father needed the doctor's expertise, small-minded or not. After much haranguing, Belle convinced the doctor to follow her back home. Her stomach tied itself into knots as she observed the physician's spindly fingers pressing into her father's leg, which was already turning a pale rose from bruising. "How is he?" Belle asked cautiously. "I don't think anything is broken, but he should stay off his leg for the next week at least." No, Maurice shook his head. "I can't." "I will make sure he does," Belle told the doctor. She guided him to the door. Once there, she shook his hand, placing his feet in his palm. "Thank you for coming." The man tipped his hat to her, but before he crossed the threshold, he said, "Maurice could further injure himself if he does not give his leg time to rest." Belle acknowledged his warning with a nod. She closed the door behind him and rested her head against it, her eyes falling shut as she prepared herself for the argument she knew would commence the moment she walked into her father's room. But when she returned to his room, the bed was empty. "Papa?" "That stubborn man!" Belle took off for his workshop. She found him hobbling toward his log-splitting machine, the invention he'd hoped to show at the fair. "Papa, you hurt the doctor. You cannot leave this house." "I must, Belle. I've worked too hard for this." His eyes grew misty as he lowered his voice and said, "This is my best work." Belle's heart broke. She knew how much it meant to her father to share his inventions with the world, to have them mean something, to improve the day-to-day lives of those who could use them. Fine, she sucked in a deep breath, then said, I'll go. Maurice whipped his head around, his eyes wide with apprehension. No, he shook his head. You can't. I can, Papa, Belle said. She ran to him and took his hands in hers. I can do this. I've been at your side the entire time you've been working on this invention. I know how it works. Let me go to the fair in your stead. But you're a young woman. Belle's mouth fell open. She was so taken aback she could scarcely think of what to say. Is that a hindrance in your eyes, Papa? Of course not, Belle. I know you are capable of doing anything you set your mind to, but there's many people in this world who would disagree. And I, for one, am tired of allowing those people to dictate what I can and cannot do. Why should anyone else have a say in whether or not I present your invention at the fair? It's not just that, Belle. The fair is in anarchy. It's a full day's journey. You've never been that far from home before, and certainly not on your own. I know, Belle said, a thrilling sensation fluttering in her stomach. After years of yearning to see beyond the borders of her provincial little town, the thought of journeying someplace new, even if it was only to show her father's invention at a neighboring village's fair, made her heart race. Maybe she would encounter a merry theater troupe on their way to perform the latest play, or maybe merchants traveling with their wares to trade on the Silk Road. Oh, wouldn't it be wonderful to meet a newly married couple heading to Paris or Verona to celebrate their honeymoon? Who knew what types of adventures await her? I know exactly how to demonstrate the machine, Papa, Belle said. She walked over to the log-cutting machine and opened the small door to its side. The coal goes here. She quickly ran to the other side. Then I just pull this lever. She gave the lever a hard tug, and the contraption sputtered to life. Steam bellowed from the top, and within moments, the sharp axe at its helm splintered a log in two. Well, look at that, Maurice said. He scratched his head. But, Belle, I don't know about this. Venturing out on your own, it could be dangerous. Not if I'm careful, she said, and I won't be alone. I'll have Philippe with me. She captured her father's shoulders and planted a kiss on his cheek. You've done so much to take care of me all these years. Let me do this for you, Papa. Belle observed the apprehension playing across his face. She was just about to make a stronger plea when he said, Maybe it won't be so bad, as long as you stick to the path. Yes, it's decided, Belle said. I'll leave first thing in the morning.